Hey, this is G with All Astrology, and it is November 1st, 2019. There's a lot coming up in November, so I'm going to dedicate this video to give a general overview of November, and then I'm going to, further on down in the video, go over the first 10 days of November with a little bit more details because it's rocky roads. We spoke about the rocky roads at the end of October. Hopefully you guys have listened to some of the videos and understood the things that I've talked about and were able to navigate those waters carefully. So without any more delays, I'm now going to tell you, if you're new here at this channel, if you are new to All Astrology, we give free readings to our subscribers. Every subscriber is entitled to one free reading, and we are always available for communication, questions, concerns. So comment, share, do whatever you need to do. Put your info down below, tap the bell, you'll get notified when your free reading is ready for you to view. Okay, now that we took care of that, I'm going to move along and get to November 1st today. We talked about the October 31st Mercury going retrograde. So now what I'm looking at is November's, well actually I'm actually looking at November 2nd, because we're beginning with a Mercury retrograde, right? Mercury retrograde, we're thinking a little bit more internally. We're thinking a little bit deeper. So I actually have always liked Mercury retrogrades. The only time I ever found them to be difficult was when I started doing this and working on this platform, because I have Pisces in my 11th house. 11th house is communications, internet, okay? And when I first began this, which wasn't that long ago, by the way, we are a brand new channel. We are not a year old. I can't remember, April, so that's 4. Where are we at now? 10. We're six months old only. And oh my God, it was so hellish. Mercury retrograde happened in Pisces, and it was just, I finally understood for the first time when other people would talk about the hells of Mercury retrograde. Everything I did, like my audio, the video, it just, everything sucked. So anyway, Mercury retrogrades typically are only going to be very personal for you depending upon where Mercury is in your chart, where the retrograde's occurring in your life at that time. So just keep that in mind. Not all Mercury retrogrades are the same. Typically, I think overall, it is definitely a time of going within and thinking a little bit deeper about something, thinking things, mulling things over a little bit more. You would need to know for sure where this is. Again, like I'm always telling people, if you don't know where anything is in your chart that I talk about or that we discuss here, do not hesitate to go ahead and to comment something down below as far as, hey, G, I just don't know. You spoke about this in a video. Can you tell me a little bit more? If I cannot directly get in touch with you and give you a response, which if you ask anybody, we reach out to as many people directly as possible. There's always going to be some sort of information we can share with you, whether it's personal information to look at your own chart or to at least give you guidance, whether that be through a video recommendation or what have you, which I've, usually am very specific with. So moving on with this, let's get into this November. This is going to be an awesome month. If you are awake, if you are aware, if you have the ability to open your eyes and look at the bigger picture, this month is for you. And you should have help, even if you haven't typically been able to do that. You should have help doing that, because we start this month off on a little bit more optimistic approach. We have Venus entering Jupiter, Sagittarius, okay? Sagittarius is typically more optimistic, can see the big picture, right? It's that arrow. So that arrow is a symbol of looking at this really high perspective. When we are up higher, when we are further away from something, we generally get to see the entire picture. Up close, I can only see like all the crap in my nail. I back up and I can see the whole hand. I back up further, I can see the arm. I back up even further, I get a view of the entire body. Get it? So Venus in Sag Jupiter is what we're feeling, okay? And it hasn't happened yet, but like November 22nd, I've got 2949 for Venus. I'm sorry, what year am I on? Hold on, let me back up. Right, I'm sorry. So November 2nd, right? November 1st, November 2nd. We've got Venus in Sagittarius. Positive optimism. It's wisdom. Sagittarius is wisdom, okay? Keep that in mind. Now, I have a specific message for everybody, and I need for you to make sure that you listen to this whole thing. This is important so that you understand. The title is Clash of the Titans, Power Play, bold communications, like almost maybe in the face where either party refuses to back down. So I'm going to have a date to give you for these, and it's not just one day. It's roughly, I'm giving it like a 10-day period. So you want to be aware of that 10-day period and when the heck that is. Keep it in mind. I'm going to walk you through it, okay? So traditionally, Mars, the beginning of November, it's Mars time, okay? We had to deal with Mars in October squaring up to Saturn. This month, we're going to be dealing with Mars squaring up and coming to an exact tight square with Pluto. Now, Pluto is all about power, okay? Pluto rules Scorpio. Scorpio is known to be intense, to be powerful, to not back down, to be willing to fight. So is Mars. Mars is the soldier, right? Mars is willing to go out there and do whatever the hell needs to be done. So when these two pair up, well, they're not pairing up, they're on opposite sides, but they're in a way where they're ready to fight. They're warriors, warrior over here, warrior over here. Hence, Clash of the Titans, okay? Now, I am numbering these days that are these potent days, November 1st, November 2nd. As it gets tighter, the big square is going to actually happen. Let me see here. They get really tight. And so typically when energies begin to tighten up, you start to feel it. You start to recognize it, as long as you're being aware, constantly being an observer of yourself and how you relate with others. Because that's how we learn, people. Whether we want to, understand it or acknowledge it, we are forced to relate. That's where our work is done. It's in the relating. And for some, it could be in a group way. For some, it could be a one-on-one. But to do the soulful stuff, to do stuff that we've come into this lifetime, it's really a one-on-one thing. It's getting in the trenches knee deep and facing each other and experiencing the mirror that's being flashed back at you, okay? That is the soul's work. So I'm going to put a date on this, November 1st to November 10th, okay? November 1st to November 10th. Write these dates down. If you're aware, like I said, you're going to start feeling the inklings. You're going to start feeling these frequencies right now. But you'll see them gradually getting stronger. And for some of you, depending on where this occurs in your chart, the squaring up, the tight squaring up, I'm going to get a degree for you because that way you can, it's 21 degrees, okay? If you have any planets in a cardinal sign, what's cardinal? We've got Aries, we've got Libra, we've got Cancer, and we've got Capricorn. So if you have any planets at roughly 21 degrees, so we're going to do an orb of 2 degrees, okay? Orb, so if I'm giving an orb of 2 degrees, and I'm saying that the first number we're working with is 21, that means 19 degrees, right? One way, because that's what the orb is. Where's my little example? So we'll say that this point right here in the middle is 19 degrees. An orb is the distance. That's all the word orb means, the distance. And the word orb changes as far as the degrees. For Mars, we're going to use a 2-degree orb, okay? So if it's 19 degrees Pluto, well, it's actually, 21 degrees Pluto, but we're going to give it an orb of 2 degrees. So it's going to be 19 degrees this way, okay, and 23 degrees over here. You get it? So it starts at 19 and it goes all the way to 23, and there's the 21 in the middle. So it's a 2-degree orb this way and a 2-degree orb this way. All right? Any planets that you have in your chart that are around, that are within that 19 to 23, that are in cardinal signs, this will be a factor. Now, once you know what house they're in, you understand what area of life that's occurring. Okay? If you don't know, comment down below. We'll take care of you. I will take care of you. Okay? So I talked about Clash of the Titans. It's important to know. It's power, power, power. It's abuse of power. It's I'm going to take control of this. What happens is when they clash up, it actually empowers us. It makes you specifically feel more powerful. It's not necessarily all of a sudden this person comes in or this event occurs in your life and someone's trying to throw their power down on you. You could very much be the person trying to throw your power down on somebody else. Because it's this square, it's coming from both ends, meaning power over here, power over here. And so we've got both entities throwing down their power and refusing to back down. So the recommendation is at this time, don't make any decisions, anything big, especially when it comes to relationships. What we've been talking about relationships because Libra is in a cardinal. Okay, Libra is a cardinal sign. Aries is a cardinal sign. And Mars is in Libra. So it's about relationships, significant one-on-one relationships. Okay? The Pluto is in Capricorn. So it's quite possibly work relationships. Okay? It could be business and government too. That's also a Capricorn thing. Capricorn represents our duties and our responsibilities. It represents structures. So if there's a structure, like for me, for about a year now, I've been going through this because Capricorn's in my 9th house and it's my belief systems about work. Get it? 9th house is your beliefs and your opinions. Capricorn represents work, but it's been squaring my Libra, and Libra's in my 6th house. Okay? Well, what's my 6th house? 6th house is also your job. 6th house is also your physical health. Capricorn's also structures. I have been having spinal issues. You understand? So it's that square that I've been experiencing for about a year now. So it's the structures of my physical body, literally. My spine, structures, teeth, structures, right? These are all these little things, and they're very, very literal. But if you understand astrology, you know that's not just the tangible. There's also the metaphysical. There's also the soulful astrology. So we have to speak in general terms because dependent upon who you are in this lifetime and your level of evolution has everything to do with how these energies are going to express in your life. The stars incline, okay? They do not control, they incline. The rest of that is the free will expression that you have, your willful expression to do and to create and to be as you desire. All right, enough being on the pedestal. So that gave you an idea of the power, okay? Now, we have the moon, November 2nd, November 4th and 5th. It's probably going to be a little bit more of an emotional time. I've got down the moon in Aquarius. Okay, anyway, I'm going to stop talking astrology. It's a possibility of things getting a little bit more emotional. The moon is involved, people. We know what the moon is. The moon is our emotions, okay? Actually, I have written down emotions on 10. That's what I have here. This whole time, remember, the overview is that power play, the Clash of the Titans things that's happening. And that goes all the way until the 10th. Now, on the 9th, November 9th, there is also this Mars is conjunct exactly, is exact opposition. I'm sorry, I said conjunct. An exact opposition. So with Eris. Eris is over here. Mars is over here. They're exactly opposing each other. I actually have written down conjunct. Let me pull up a chart. Let me make sure my notes are. Mars is in Libra and Eris is in Aries. I just wrote the shit down wrong. I know what I'm doing here. Sometimes speaking and writing and thinking, they all sometimes aren't lined up. And, well, you're witnessing me in the midst of a Mercury retrograde. My communication might not be lined up with what comes out of my mouth, what's in my head, and what's in my heart. And so It perfects us to be able to do that. That's what the challenges are about. They help you to perfect, to, they're the little homework projects, the little tests that help you to really calibrate those things so that they work together more harmoniously. All right, so on that day, remember Mars is the male, is the fighter. Eris is the female, basically the unwanted, uninvited guest to the party. But she's the warrior goddess. She's not going to back down. So they're going to be this T-square. It's between Eris and Mars and Pluto. Okay, so if doesn't mean necessarily that all these things have to happen in your life. The other part of astrology, especially when it's one of the outer planets such as Pluto, is it's a transpersonal planet, which means it's a world effect. It's a generational thing. So that means pay attention what's going on in the world on the global level, on the cosmic level. Then you can really best get a grip and an understanding as to when a planet moves, the effects and how it looks. So I was thinking about this earlier before the video. Some of the things I say and do, people might think, well, damn, you give out these readings and you do this and that. Of course, people, when they hear this, they're just going to be like, they program in their mind, oh, well, my life's going to be this and it's going to be that. No, I'm a firm believer that we have free will. But the way I want people to understand, if they don't know, the way I came about astrology was before astrology, I recognized patterns in my life, patterns in others' lives. I recognized cycles. I recognized things that people would consider coincidences. I recognized synchronicities, right? And I thought to myself, I wonder if there's a way to gauge that. And so I had this event happen at a job I was working where it was my job to hire the people. And one day, the crew, we were all talking, joking around and laughing, and somebody said something about birthdays, and the other person was like, well, my birthday's in a couple days too. And someone's like, get out of here, and then another person on the backside of me chimed in, was like, well, my birthday is like a few days after that. And then another day went by, and I was working with a different group of people, all the same people that I hired, by the way. And we basically kind of had the same revealing, similar birth dates. Now, when I did the hiring, my job was just to make sure everybody was 16, okay? What I found out was, as I was listening to everybody talk and talk about how their birthdays were all like within this same 20-day period, I was in my mind like, is anybody else finding this a little freaky? For me, it was super freaky because I had hired them. Now, I didn't hire people according to their birth date, but their birth year. All I had to do was make sure they were minimum 16 years of age. I didn't pay attention to the other stuff. So at that point, I said, hold the hell up. I went back to the employee files and I started checking. I just started re-looking at birth dates as opposed to birth years. Would you believe everybody I had hired was a freaking Capricorn? A Capricorn. And when that occurred, I thought, there's something to this shit. There was something that me as an individual looking to hire people recognized traits, qualities, and characteristics that I knew fit in to what already existed. I was looking for individuals who would basically make my job easier, who would be easy to train, who would be picking up fast on the job, who would be self-starters, who wouldn't, people who you wouldn't have to babysit. Anyhow, using these things, understanding what I needed and what I wanted, I then saw those traits in these people as I interviewed them. Well, lo and behold, then the astrology came into play when I looked up the birth dates, and I thought, oh my God, there's something to this. So that's what really, really got me into astrology to the degree where I said, I've got to dig deeper. I've got to take this major plunge and just do the work. Do the work. So that is my story on how, no, it's not a matter of reading my Sunday horoscope or whatever the hell, reading my horoscope and then living my life out according to something that I read. That's not me at all. And I encourage you to come to this truth or any truth your own way. If this isn't for you, that is absolutely fine. Okay, I feel like I've been talking forever. Enough. Let's get back to the astrology of the month. Okay, so now I talked about the Clash of the Titans and the big deep stuff for the first 10 days of November. Now, this month we're also going to be looking at a really fascinating time of 11/11. That's coming up. I'm going to do a separate video on that, and you're going to want to listen to it. You're going to want to hear about it. 11/11 is here. I'm just going to say a few words. Okay. On 11/11, what occurs is Mercury, okay, the planet of our information and thinking and knowledge. Mercury is retrograde. We've already talked about this, okay? So here's Mercury retrograding. Here's the sun, okay? Mercury ends up crossing over the sun. Yes, Mercury keeps going, but on 11/11, they're right there on top of each other. So you're going to want to know, what the hell does that mean? One thing I will tell you is, well, information, right? And sun is vitality. So this planet of information is going to be lit. This effect, this planetary alignment is extremely rare, folks. Is extremely rare. That's why I'm going to dedicate, or maybe both, we'll see what Messiah schedules, going to dedicate an entire video to just that, okay? And you're going to want to know the degrees of where it happens so you can find out where this happens in your chart and understand better, you know, if it's, anyway, so you can understand where this is going to be in your life. Now, the very next day is the full moon. We're going to have a full moon in Taurus, and we'll go a little bit over that, okay, so that you understand that. The full moon of Taurus is going to be happening this month. That's going to be at 20 degrees. It's going to be a nice full moon. It's going to be beautiful. The moon is exalted in Taurus, which is a good thing. Peace, stillness, abundance, prosperity. It's harvest time, so to speak. Creativity, very, very creative sign. Venus rules Taurus. It's about beauty, okay? It's about the material world, okay? Create some beauty there. November 23rd is another big, big deal we got coming up, people. November 23rd, for all you rainbow warriors listening, November 23rd is when Venus, Jupiter, and the galactic center are going to come together, and this is going to be a big deal. So we're going to do a video on that one as well, so we can go into more detail on what that means. The galactic center is a GC galactic center. I like to look at it as greater cosmic consciousness, basically. The sun is the sun. The sun is S-U-N is S-O-N. The galactic center, the GC, is the Father. Got it? This is happening in Sagittarius at 27 degrees. You're going to want to know where that is in your chart. Then at the end of the month, you know what? I love this month. I love this month. As I looked at this month, I thought to myself, this is so overdue. I myself and so many others, we have been through some major rough waters, people. Major rough waters. What I want to emphasize is that for November, these energies that are coming, okay, the information that is coming, don't sit back and coast, okay? Be the surfer on the wave, on the board, who sees that wave coming and says, if I want to get to where I want to go, I got to get up on this board and ride this wave. Do you understand that? Do not sit back and coast. Do not sit there laying flat on the board and just watching other people surf by. There is a wave of energy coming through, and I want you to ride it. I really, really do, people. Okay? So for this video, that is my overview for the month of November, and I definitely am going to try to stay on top of this month and break it down as we go through so that you have a better understanding where these things occur in your chart. If you don't have your chart, Even if you already have a free reading and for whatever reason you don't have a printed chart for you to look at so that you can see your degrees, comment down below. I'll hook you up with a free chart, okay? The purpose of this channel is to share this knowledge. That's it. Share knowledge, okay? So do yourself a favor. Look out for you. Take this knowledge, have your chart in your hand. If I say 27 degrees of Sagittarius, I want you to be able to be like, damn, that's right there. And damn, that's in my 8th house. You can then hear what I'm saying. And you can completely understand what the hell that's going to mean for you. Got it? And maybe that's exactly what we'll do this month. This is a big month. Maybe that's what we'll do. Maybe we'll go into more detail where I can simply say, okay, this galactic center thing's a big deal. So if it's happening in your 1st house, it's going to mean this. If it's happening in your 2nd house, it's going to mean this. We can do that. Comment down below and let me know if you guys would like something like that. That's totally fine. I can definitely at least find a way to take care of you and give you what you want. Okay? Sometimes I don't think people really know because sometimes I get great comments and sometimes it's like flatline, which is fine. So I just go ahead and I think, well, I'm just going to listen to what I'm being told and talk about it. But if you don't give me some input, I can't help you. Tell me how I can help you. You understand what I'm saying? That's what I'm here for, people. That's what I'm here for. All right. So that is going to conclude this video. Make sure that you look out again November 1st to November 10th. Okay? Find out where that is in your chart. And, well, stay tuned till I come up with the next video. It'll be shortly. Till then, bye.